So, what are the contributors? What do we think about when we're taking care of our mental health? And there is a handout sheet in your folders um, where this is all together as well. And I think it can be really helpful to hold this lens with moms, and think about how are they taking care of their overall mental health and how are we talking with and supporting them around that. But it's always a reminder to ourselves because sometimes we're really good at telling other people to take time for self-care, but it doesn't mean we're doing it ourselves. So let's think about that too as we're discussing this last section. But having realistic expectations, and I think especially a lot of people found this during COVID too, when there's just increased need that we're just going, and trying to respond to all the needs so quickly. Um, and moms are certainly often put in pretty unrealistic expectations for multitasking and maintaining work, taking care of baby and other kids, maintaining the house. I mean, it's just so much at once, and we start to just exhaust ourselves through multitasking. So, how to try to slow down and have more realistic expectations, and seeing bonding as one of the things that we're doing. Because sometimes, in all of the pressure for the things that need to get done, as soon as baby's content, that's a time to get other things done. So how do we see bonding as one of the things that we're slowing down in order to make space for? Taking intentional time to nurture yourself, treating our own emotional needs with respect. This is part of self-care, is how we talk to ourselves, how we treat ourselves emotionally, and making time for relationships and connecting with others. Taking breaks, taking our own breaks in the workday, making sure that you don't go through your whole day without taking a lunch break or some time to just step back and breathe a little bit, and helping moms think about how to take breaks in their day as parents and even schedule predictable times. It can be really tempting, during a nap to then use that as the time to get everything done around the house and wash dishes and do laundry. And that can just be so depleting without any break. So encouraging some breaks to really nurture yourself, and that they deserve that time. Sleep is probably the biggest connector to mental health. If there's one place to target, if somebody's struggling with depression or anxiety or stress, or when we ourselves are, having periods of insomnia, prioritizing sleep. Sleep has so much impact on our emotional well-being. And so when we're getting good sleep, it just really can contribute importantly to mental health. And so a lot of times most adults don't even recognize that the amount of sleep time that adults need is between 7 and 9 hours. It's quite common for people to get 6 hours of sleep a night. And so then it's like they're going on chronic sleep deprivation. And it's important to be aware of how much sleep our bodies need to restore. And then it can be another area of talking about how to develop like a relaxing routine before bed. And if there's things like, trying to think about how to make nighttime feedings. Sometimes if a mom's really experiencing a severe postpartum depression, we'll also talk about can she pump or have a partner, bottle feed baby for some of those nighttime feedings so that she can have a more consistent stretch of sleep. And sleep is really an area to strategize around how to protect that time, and also think about sleep on a 24-hour sleep schedule. So babies, especially early infancy, are on a 24-hour sleep schedule, and they're waking up during the night and napping during the day. And if mom can mirror that, she might get more sleep within a 24-hour period. That could help her mood. Thinking about exercise in terms of daily movement, I think it's so um, exercise can feel so punitive sometimes, or just like, oh, I don't like exercise. But if we're just talking about movement and moving your body and getting outside, and there's such a connection between that and mental health and well-being. There are plenty of studies that show the more somebody exercises, the better, the lower depression or anxiety they have. But we don't need to think about exercise as just going to a gym. It might be gardening. It might be taking a walk with a friend. It might be just dancing around your kitchen, like any ways of moving your body, but especially if you can get outdoors and get some sunshine involved too, those can have a lot of impact. Nutrition, we all know probably like the ways the nutrition supports our emotional well-being, or our physical well-being, but I think thinking about how it also supports our emotional well-being, and that the sort of sugar crashes or lots of sugar and caffeine or junk food can also impact emotional experience and mental health and depression, is something to be aware of. And all of these things are small, but in combination can have a really big impact. Thinking about spiritual life and how to replenish on that level, whether it's through formal religion or in other informal ways, or it might just be breathing or meditation, or time in nature. It can be a whole range of things, but thinking about how we also take care of and replenish our spirits, and how we connect with community in that way. And journaling can also be really helpful in increasing reflective capacity, but also as a way to just process emotions out of ourselves. I find, especially with anxiety, sometimes thoughts can be so spiraling that just to get them out of your head and onto paper can be really helpful. Or sometimes just even a bullet point list of all the things that you're worrying about can just get it out of your head, and be things you can come back to later, but especially around sleep too. If somebody's having a lot of insomnia because they've got sort of spinning thoughts, journaling can be a great way to just get them on paper and feel like I don't need to keep thinking about them and running them around my head. And with moms that you support in your work, and also ourselves, how are we staying connected to our circles of support? And with moms, a lot of times, it can be one of the challenges is those circles being really limited, or mom being really isolated. So starting to help think about where those supports might be or how to help her build them.